dealership, but I believe that has a $10,000 threshold. If it's a business.
I haven't listed the drivers, I have my revenues less than $5,000.
But if a business is worth more than 10, again,
Quinn helps you, I put my farm
Okay.
on there too, we actually have a farm name, and I just put that name on there.
Well, I guess I'll do it.
and I said that.
I'd say Missouri is probably better.
I did not write the statute.
All right, I call the Lyon County Fiscal Court meeting into order. Today is December 9th, 2021, 1 p.m. We'll start with invocation. Quinn, would you lead us?
Dear Lord, we come to you, again, just thankful for all the good things you bless us with. We thank you for time of season that we're celebrating the birth of Christ and what it means to each of us. And thank you for that, the gift you give us over 2,000 years ago, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we thank you for this county and the ability and the opportunity that you've given us to live here, be of service here. We pray for each of our first responders, our police, fire, ambulance, all those that keep us safe, dear Lord. We thank you for each one, and we pray for their continuous service and safety to our community. We pray for our military, as those that are on home soil, those that are abroad, that you just put your hand of protection on them, watch over them, protect them, and bring them back to their family at the time that's nearest it can be, dear Lord. We thank you for all that you've done for us, giving our faith, for asking all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Start the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business is visitor comments. All right, we'll move on to opening a bid, solid waste disposal. We got one bid for Waste Path. If you decide to show it up.
See the bigger one awarded to us.
That'd be a good bid. All right. The stationary compactor was bid at $400 a month. That's with them, they continue ownership of the compactor. Take care of all breakdowns and so forth. There's no installation, so already there. Transportation is $175 per trip. No rental fees for the use of the boxes that are out there. The transportation of roll-off boxes $155 a trip. And disposal of the trash or garbage is $35 a ton. Do you remember what we were-
Both the hauls went up just $25 a trip,
Okay,
you know, because these are prices from 7 years ago, so they went up $25 a trip, and then the tonnage had to go up a little bit, but we had to get above some stuff from Calvin City, because they've got to have the rock bottom, so it went up $3 a ton on that, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very, very minimal increases on them. And the compact stayed the same, it's been that on the 400.
now, we had talked, I don't know if you had it in here, we were gonna do was it a 4-year? Is that what we bid out, 4-year?
4 year with a additional 2-year extension, I think.
Right. So, those who would like to look. It's pretty much the same, except, the hauls went up $25, and I don't remember what the tonnage was.
I think it went up $3 a ton, if I'm not mistaken.
29, yeah, that would be about. Before you leave your, card or something. I don't think you had, did you have a card last time?
I've got cards if I had some printed.
Yeah. Or just email me back your contact info,
Okay.
'cause for some reason I didn't get it put in. Well, they've done a good job for us.
I'll make a motion, we accept.
Motion made by Bobby to accept this bid for a 4-year contract, second by Quinn. Any questions for the man while he's sitting here?
You're too slow.
We've had very limited trouble.
Till you hit my truck the other day.
Till I what?
No, that was Livingston hit my truck, never mind.
Did they? I thought I hit it, did I, like, leave the scene?
No, Livingston.
Hey, the sheriff would like to know.
Did he leave the scene?
I'm sorry.
Are you considered taking in new routes
Taking in new routes,
down in the Swanee area,
we're always considered new residential.
Knight Road,
I have no idea what that's at.
that's off 819?
I'm a cracking boy. Yeah, we're definitely, especially as we get, we're hiring new drivers and new trucks right now, so we're expanding that residential pretty substantially. So, especially now with the increase of, we started Princeton January 1, that franchise, so we have we're up this way pretty heavy now, so.
Leave a card with him, because I think he's gonna wanna talk to you a little bit.
Okay. I don't have any cards with me, but I'll shoot you up.
What, did he say he
He
didn't have cards?
said twice, he doesn't have them.
I thought he said he did have cards.
He said if I had them printed, I would give them to you.
Oh, well, he keeps coming up with that same excuse. It's like a year later, he just too cheap to print it.
That's why I had to come in with that price increase.
Go in there and post it right down there. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, keep doing what you're doing. Appreciate it.
Shoot y'all over my contact information. If y'all need anything, let us know. We appreciate it. We've had a long relationship here. Keep it going. Lord, I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Minutes. Motion to approve the minutes. Second by Bobby.
Quinn?
Did you see anything? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Where is Tommy?
He's down my area.
You send him down there. We need him for court.
I know.
Is it like something he can't pull from, or?
Well, he looked at shooting a ditch, cleaning it out or something, what he said.
All right, I'm just gonna send him a reminder.
He called me about an hour ago, said that's where it's headed for it rain.
Impound lot?
Yeah. 2006, or excuse me, 2019, ordinance number 06219, or maybe it's 21906, I can't remember how that works. Fiscal court gave us approval to run and operate an impound lot with a new law that was passed by the General Assembly. We've been doing that. I think there were some questions about has that been profitable for us and that kind of thing. I have those figures if you'd like that today. It has, and after a slow start because of COVID and that kind of thing, it just I think we're almost $10,000 to the good, so I think we're $9,564.59. We anticipated anywhere from $12,000 to $14,000 a year, and I think once we're able to maintain some consistency, I think that's what it will generate for us, and so it does work. The reason I asked this to be on the agenda is when you all codified that ordinance, there was some statutory language in there that you all gave me permission to set up the rules and regulations as it pertains to the operation of that. So, transparency with you all, wanted to bring an issue to your attention that I've been notified by one of our record services. We have 2 record services that are on what's called the Kentucky State Police Dispatch Rotating Record List. We contract for dispatch services with state police, so we utilize their list. Those record services are M&P Towing out of O'Reilly and Stennis Towing out of Catawba. I've been approached by 2 record services, one that's on our list and one that's not on our list, asking if we're ever going to bid this out. And what they mean by that is bidding out the towing that goes just to the impound lot. And so I hadn't thought about doing that at all. I said, well, we've been using the rotating list. That seems to work. And then shortly after that, toward the end of October, whenever I first brought it up to the mayor and I think the county attorney, I had the other record service that is on our list approach me and says, hey, we're gonna have to go up. And we had capped it with your all's delegation, or however you did that to me. I capped that towing rate, which we just act as a pass-through for that. So the statute's very clear that the sheriff's handling fee is $25. It's 25 dollars per day storage every day thereafter. And we set up rules and regulations on how that's operated. The cap that I imposed based upon the ordinance, the language in the ordinance that you all gave me the authority to do that, is $150. So the cap, so one of our record services charges the max every time, and one of our record services does not. And so we just pass that through to the end user. So if, for example, Jeff Fowler had his vehicle impounded for whatever reason, that we generally don't take impounds on vehicles that are wrecked. So those all go to the regular record services impound lots. These record services impound lots are usually very full, they're overflowing, so this is actually a good way for us to operate. We only take what is a running vehicle, a vehicle that actually is operational. We arrested a DUI, we have a habitual violator, we have somebody that has no insurance, that continues to drive with no insurance. We impound that vehicle, and then they have to provide proof of insurance before they get it out, those kind of things. If we towed Jeff Fowler's vehicle tonight, and the record service sent us, they would fax us an invoice, probably by tonight or by in the morning, and it would say $150 and it towed this vehicle. Then we would put a $25 handling fee on it, and if it didn't go over the 25 or over the 24-hour period, that would be all it would be. So they would have to pay $175 to get that vehicle out. If it stayed in impound for a day, it would be another $25. The total would be $200. And that person would come here, they would make payment to us, it would come back to you all, the fiscal court, through our fee account that we rectify every month with you all. What is happening is one of the record services, and they're friends of mine, as far, I went to school with them, I'm friends with all of them, but they indicated that they were going to have to go up to $200. Well, and maybe even, and left the possibility of maybe going up more, and I've capped it at $150. So there was never really any direction from the fiscal court on how we select record services for this program. The way I read it, I guess I could do that based upon how you all did the ordinance, because if you all put in there that I would set up the rules and regulations for it. I just want to be fair about it. If I do need to bid it out, we can bid it out. I asked the reason why the increase, and I was told that we were taking too much of their profit, and it was somewhat retributive, I felt like, and I thought that's not really so, because if you utilize the service, we're paying you the next day out of our fee account, so you're not waiting 30 days to get your money. And if that same person as a private citizen calls you, you're probably only charging them $85 to $100 to do that. And so, whereas it's capped at $150 with us. And so I don't want to put anybody out of business by any means, and we're not advocating that. But I want to understand what the court wants me to do in that situation, because to me that seems excessive to our citizen. It looks like the county is charging that rate, but we're not. So if the citizen can hire that same record service and pay a lower rate if they have a wreck or stalled vehicle, but when they go through the county sheriff's impound lot, they have this high rate, I just don't think that's fair. So I checked with some other counties. Other counties bid that out on an annual basis, and they do that. And that's what two of these other record services had made comments about if we ever bid it out, because they know other counties are doing that now. So it's totally up to you all. I'm just bringing it to your attention. I'm not asking you to do anything necessarily. Just think about it. That rate increase, I've been told, wouldn't go into effect until January 1st, after the first of the year. They were very transparent in calling me and telling me that it was going to go up, but I just didn't get a good feeling about why it was going up. It was almost like it was, well, y'all are taking business from us, which I don't see that, honestly. I mean, we may be taking a little bit of business, but we're not taking it all, and we're turning that dollar around for them very quickly, and they're making more money in that particular toll than they would make if the private citizen contacted them directly anyway.
Well, I guess they would make,
What's that?
I guess they would make money from the, like if they towed it and kept it there.
If they towed, so let me give you an example. So if they towed it now, if the way they're towing it now, they're charging $150, okay? But if you call them, they're charging anywhere from $85 to $100 if you do it on your own. And then if they keep it for a day or two, they're charging $25 a day. So it's almost a wash, is what I'm saying. It's basically the same. So I don't understand why.
Have you asked him that, Brent?
I did, and the comment was as well, I ran my numbers for since we've been doing this, and y'all are cutting too much into our profits for our rollback. And I said, then are you raising your regular rates?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Yes.
what I was told is they were raising it on the state police record list, and that would affect us. I was not told they were raising it regularly, so I didn't want to get into that with that particular business because technically that's a violation of the state police record rules and regulations. You can't charge a citizen a higher rate on the rotating list than you would, sometimes at another rate. So I mean, I love those people. They do a great job, what we call them, and I certainly don't want to do anything that hinders them, but I think we have offered a fair, how we're doing it now is as fair as any county I know of. Ballard County, for instance, they were one of the first ones like us that has it. They bid it out, I believe. They did the rotating at first. They don't have very many record services, and so they bid it out. Nobody's at a $200 rate. That's pretty high. It just looks like the county's charging that, or the sheriff's office is charging that, and we're just the pass-through. So,
have we had anybody not pay after you've paid for their tow?
and then we sell the vehicle. We go through the sheet process of getting the vehicle.
Has it been many?
That's where many of the surplus vehicles that I come to you all with, like the ones that aren't military surplus, when we do that, so no, it's not a ton. No, sir. It's most people get their vehicle back. On this one, there were three. There's three. So I mean,
I want to say like less than 10 totals.
yes, I believe
I
that's
want to say
right.
7, but.
Do we charge them per day for it to sit there?
Yes, sir. It's $25. It's codified in the statute and in the orders.
So you've got you said the profit was 10?
$9,564. That's at the end of October. I think we're over 10.
Does that
now.
count the cost of
Yeah,
building?
that's the profit part. That's the profit.
So there's been probably $24,000 worth of income.
Total receipts were $15,170 in 2021. Total, there's been about just a little over 20,000 since we started. And we started at the end of 2019, and of course, COVID, we didn't do a whole lot. And then, so yeah, this year we've had $15,170 in total receipts, and expenditures were $6,751 this year. But total since we started it, we're $9,564.49 to the good.
So do you go on a rotation too, whenever you call these people?
Yes, sir. That's the way we've been doing it.
So if one's higher than the other, could you charge a higher rate for the one that's?
I can go to the cap that we established for one
I
field.
mean, do we need to move the cap?
I just don't know. That's why I brought it to your all's attention. I mean, it's, if the regular citizen is not gonna pay more, why should,
Well, I understand. what you're saying.
yeah, that's the only thing that I'm just concerned about. And I have not sat down and tried to negotiate this out. I think that particular company would probably negotiate with us. I mean, but at the end of the day, he wants to make more money, and I understand that. He's a business person. I just don't want it to look like, I don't want it to be retributive, number one. And number two, I don't want it to look like we're fleecing our citizens.
Why would we not be like this?
Pardon?
Why would we not?
I have no idea. we were trying to be fair in the very beginning. We had 2 certified record services in the county, and we decided to just, I suggested it because we already had a rotating list. We already had a mechanism. Those rates are locked in with the state police, so I didn't think there was gonna be an issue. And the other company that's come to us asking us about the bid is a body shop here in town that has a rollback that wants to get in that business, I guess. We haven't really dealt with them very much at all, so, but, you know, I told them.
Local business also.
It is local, it's a Lyon County business as well. So, I mean, I'll do whatever you all suggest. I just wanted to bring it to your all's attention because it was an issue that we hadn't talked about when the ordinance was established. And I can make the decision myself, that's not a problem, but I wanted to bring it to y'all's attention because I just don't know what the pleasure of the court is.
Are you locked in right now, rotating? Is that what you're saying? Is you're rotating?
That's the way I have it in our protocol for the record program, the impound lock program.
That's how state police does it also.
That's exactly right. And that's what I'm used to, just because that's where I came from, state police. It's the fairest one. Now, many times, when you call, that dispatcher calls that particular rotating, the next one on the list, so to speak, they're not available, and they'll say, I can't. And we don't penalize them, we just go to the next one. Very rarely, and they do that for each other sometimes, because they might have a record that was down, or like Mr. Parr, his wife has been sick, I think, with maybe cancer or something, and they've been in the hospital a lot, in and out. And so students would do a lot of those at that time.
So if we put it out, everybody knows what the cap is, right?
Yes, everybody that's dealing with it now knows what the cap is, yes, sir. And we've been operating in that cap since its inception, which is basically a year and 3/4, almost 2 years, I guess.
What we do if we have 3 to come back and get more than the cap,
That is a concern, and I've thought about that.
then what we do?
Yeah, that is a concern. Well, we do have the right to reject, you know, any and all bids, but then it puts me right back in the situation I'm at, so.
So if this other company goes to $200 now, you can't use them at all because your cap.
My cap is at 150. Now, I can if I raise my cap, I guess. I have somewhat of a moral issue with it right now, just because a lot of these people that we're dealing with, you know, they're choosing maybe not to buy their insurance, or maybe they're habitual violators. I don't feel bad for them, but you do have people that get down on their luck. And if they needed a record and they called the same record service and they got a rate of $85 or $100, and yet then when we end up having to impound the vehicle for whatever reason, it's twice the dollar amount, I just don't see that that's fair.
And I'm a big supporter of supporting your local business.
I am too.
I mean, I understand, but I still,
I just felt it was enough of a difference that I needed to come and at least advise the court. If you all want me, if you want to table it, and I'm just advising you, I'm not asking for anything, I can try to negotiate with this record service and report back to you all. I don't care to do that. I just, and I think we could potentially be able to work it out. I just felt obligated to tell y'all where we're at with it.
I don't want to hurt businesses.
I don't either. I don't want to hurt our citizens either, so I'm in a quandary is what I guess where I'm at.
I mean, I go to, you know, people raise their price, I understand because of the price of fuel going up.
I do too.
I mean, I understand vehicles cost more, I understand that, but, you know, I don't know, it's just, I know I had a certain incident with my insurance company, called and told me that one body shop here in town was making too much money. And I thought, how does the insurance company dictate on what you make,
Yes, sir.
you know?
And I asked the state police if they had changed some of their protocol. They used to have a rate schedule that was approved across the state. They do not do that anymore. They just look at it on a case-by-case basis, and if they're similar, with ones in their area, they don't contest it. But now if you have one that's like way out of bounds, they will contest it. So,
I would probably need to hear from the business as to how this is hurting them. Because if we're hurting them, we need to fix something, because that wasn't the intent.
no, there's never any intent to hurt them. And I don't think, personally, you go up and drive at either one of the services we're using, their impound lots that they have are full. So I don't know that we're not hurting them where they're not laying off employees. Matter of fact, they're hiring employees right now. So, I mean, I don't think, they're not cutting services, it doesn't appear, or anything like that, but I'm willing to sit down with them and ask that.
We just let him see if he talk to the businesses and see if they come back and, or ask the businesses to come in here and explain
Be happy
or something like that.
to, be happy to.
But I'm like, wait, I don't hurt them, like I said, I'm a big believer in buying.
I am too, in both of these record services, there's not any issue with them. They do a great job for us on what they do. We trust them as far as when they're going to our impound lot, they have our code on our impound lot. That's how they get in. We don't, unless it's an evidentiary item, we don't have to escort them in and escort them out. They've been great to work with. This is really just the only significant hiccup we've had.
Alright. Anything else? Tommy,
Yes, sir.
anything to report?
Well, just, we got the 125 back from H&R. I haven't seen the bill yet, I don't want to send it straight to here, but it should have been near as much as we thought it was gonna be, because they fired the injection system, cleaned the injectors, and, cleaned the fuel tank out on it.
Well, they should have sent to the insurance company, were they gonna do that as well? I haven't seen it.
I don't know, I don't know if it's gonna turn on insurance or not, since it was, operator error,
Yeah, insurance gonna pay for it.
there was, well, then I would probably see it, so.
Well,
That was,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah, they sent, the insurance sent the check, she was supposed to send the check to the court. I did talk to her, yeah. The adjuster, she was supposed to send the check to y'all, you guys. And I told her to go ahead and fix it when she said she's gonna send the check. But we've got it back, we've run it several hours, get on right, and, the boom mower, I've got all the parts, put it back together, except for the cradle. I'm waiting on it to come in. We've already got the new lines on both sections of boom. But we can't attach it to the tractor, we just cradle it. And I'm waiting on it to come in, so. And then I've got the one tractor running, he's at the first district now, with the leaf blower on. So they're blowing leaves, cleaning out culverts, ditches. I'm sure we're probably getting some, I ain't had any phone calls, I don't know if you guys have, or not. I'm sure we're getting some not too friendly calls about blowing leaves back up people's yards for not to burn them, and I'm gonna blow them back up in the yard, So, and I told them I keep the culverts up, and I ain't got enough manpower to go out and leaf fork each culvert and fork them out.
Yeah.
So, we're blowing them out. If they don't want to blow back up in the yard, they can burn them. We're also doing some ditching with the track out where I'm down with Gary Dess's right now. We shot that, and, it was about 1.5 feet higher in elevation than what it needed to be. So we're taking it down.
See there with you,
We're gonna be there, we'll be there the rest of that day, probably tomorrow. We're gonna do both sides.
Was he there?
Yeah.
I called him.
Yeah, he came in. We've got all our snow equipment ready to go, everything's been checked out, so it all works. We just hope it don't get no snow. Y'all will be driving some plow trucks.
I hope I don't have to use them.
I hope I need to pay more, I feel a bit.
I make a motion to accept the road department report. Second by Quinn, all in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Let's see, I'd like to make a motion that, we reappoint, Paul Bocci and Paul Ackridge to the extension board, for a couple more years.
Whether they separate or together.
Well, if it's a unanimous, we'll do them together.
We'll try that.
I'll second it.
Second by Bobby. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. No. The holiday schedule. a second? Second by Jim. Is he tattling on that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Vote nay.
You should have seconded it.
Amended annual order setting maximum pay, sheriff's deputies, and assistants for 2021.
That is essentially because the raise that you all approved for our personnel was not included in that. We did that in December, and we very much appreciate that raise, but it was not included in there. And we're probably gonna be, even without the raise, we're right about $400 to $700, real close to being just over anyway. So the majority of that is just because of the raise that needs to be bumped up before the end of the year.
Well, we should have had some savings from Chris Smith and from Randy.
We did until we lost Amy when she went down and started using all of her sick time and vacation
Well, that was
time.
2,000.
Pardon?
That was about $2,000.
And then we had to hire Pam Hudson to fill in because during tax season, the month of October, you cannot do that with one person in an office. You can't collect that many million.
Well, I mean, there should have been about $18,000 in savings. You're talking about 4,000 in raises that we did, and then a couple of thousand on Amy. There should have been money in there.
We had a lot more overtime that was utilized this year after we came out of COVID than I anticipated and than I realized until we started looking at it. And so we did have some of that as well. That was in all areas, but especially one particular employee, and I have rectified that going forward by changing that employee to a salary employee. So we don't have that issue going forward, and that we don't go over that because we were significantly over for two of those employees.
I mean, that's my problem. I mean, it just seems to be out of hand on the overtime.
It was $400 to $700 over. Is over the maximum allowance. I understand what you're saying.
But it was 18,000 in good before all this, because you had two deputies out.
Which two are you
I
talking
guess
about?
Chris Smith, and who was the other one?
Chris Smith went down.
Randy.
Chris Smith is primarily a pass-through, okay? So if you're counting that money, you can't count that money as savings because it's a pass-through. They're paid from the school.
Okay, he works overtime though, right, in the summer?
He does work over in the summer. He does work over in the summer.
Yeah, that's what we're
And
counting.
he did
We
work.
pay him in the summer.
He did work part of the summer. We didn't stop that till later in the summer. Yeah, he did work in the summer, just not the entire summer.
Well, I've got the calculations. I mean, I don't think.
And that's why I've taken measures to hopefully stop you at that going into calendar year 2022.
But you're gonna be over, you thinking you're gonna be over this year?
That's why you're amending it, what we're asking you to amend it,
I mean, how much do you think you're gonna be over, 700 or something?
$400 to $700 total is what Kathy is estimating. And then the rest of that is the raise that wasn't included, which wouldn't have been included, because just like in this one, the assumption is there is no raise. There is no raise included.
Well, how much overtime does Sam work?
Sam probably worked about $13,000 worth of overtime. He was the highest paid deputy that we had. And I give you all the activity reports every single month, and you can see what these guys are doing. You had about $39,150 of overtime. The calendar year 2022 is dropped down, and we shifted his overtime into his base salary. It's the same exact amount that you had budgeted for this year. We just shifted to that, so he won't be accruing overtime anymore.
Brent, you shared this with Wayne and I the other day. I didn't know I was even walking into that meeting, until I was here. But anyway, my big concern moving forward is, so Sam gets the 10,000, he's going salary. And
Yes, sir.
make sure that I'm clear on this.
His exact salary allocation from last year is just moving over into his base salary amount. He's not getting anything else.
Here's my concern, what I voiced the other day was,
Right.
if he's salaried, and then decides I'm only gonna work 40 days a week, get the same number of hours, then you have to have somebody else staying overtime. So, if you have to do that, you defeat the purpose of giving him a
And
raise.
that's your assumption that he'll do that. He'll say,
If-
he's worked over every single day
I said if he
since
does.
he's worked over every single day since he's been promoted. Every single day. And I don't see that stopping,
Okay, that's
but
what
I don't have, he doesn't have to. But he does. And
Does he have to if you tell him
well, I can direct him as his appointing authority to work over, but yes, you know, he could be directed to do that. Could I give him time off later? Sure, but he can't approve anymore.
I just don't wanna come back this time next year with the same issue, that's what it was.
I totally respect that, and that's why I came and was talking to the judge, and that's what I've done to stopgap that. He's my most, he saves us more money as a retired employed officer, just like Chris Smith, when he was full-time and not on the schedule he is now, and just like me, if I wasn't the constitutional office holder. Those retired employed officers save the county. Well, look at the difference between Joe Witherspoon and even Sam Adams now. I know we're getting ahead, but calendar year 2022, that's the cost of government on the far right. So a retired reemployed person is saving the county nearly $50,000. And it's my priority to try to find those people where we can. They're unicorns. They're like pink-haired unicorns. They really are. But guys, we've been busy. We've been extremely busy. These guys don't milk overtime. They don't charge you and us every hour of overtime that they utilize. That's why I'm restricting. We're not going out on the interstate. That's why we're not going to LBL. We get tied up out on the interstate. We're out there for 4 hours while the regular calls back up here that we have to go back and deal with afterwards. That's state police's issue. That's why I don't want to go to LBL and get stuck over there on a 5-hour assault investigation that pulls 2 guys over there. I don't want to do that. And so that's the things that we're doing to try to stop that. This overtime.
So, I know we're getting into next year's allocation, but if you go out, these overtime hours with Sam being salary are sufficient.
I do. I do.
Will that be the case? I move that we, set the, amended maximum salary.
Motion made by Quinn. Is there a second? Second by Bobby. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, nay. I'm nay.
Nay.
Motion fails. Next item of business is the annual order setting maximum amount for deputies' assistants, for the sheriff's office, $568,710.88.
We accept that figure.
Motion to accept. Is there a second?
I'll say.
Second by Jeff. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And, hang on, let me catch up here. Are you writing all this down on this? No. You are?
Yeah.
We're gonna use yours? No, I mean on this form. Let me get it on this form.
Sorry.
I tell you
Well, you
all,
made that motion, right?
one other thing I tell you all, on the court security officer positions, we met with the Justice Cabinet. It's an AOC issue, but the Kentucky Sheriff Association as well as the Justice Cabinet, we met with to try to get that raised. So we're trying to get that raised above $10 an hour. So that $12.87, $12.17, and $9, the state right now pays $9 per hour on those CSG positions. And then we subsidize the rest of that, so that's a pass-through. Just like the CLEP money that's there, that's $24,000, that's a pass-through. We get reimbursed, we pay that out in salary, and we get that amount reimbursed. So we've asked for that to increase, and we believe that will get increased.
Who makes that determination?
AOC.
All right, next item business, annual order setting maximum amount for deputies and assistants for the clerk's office at 193. Is there a motion?
Yeah,
Jeff made the motion, second by Quinn. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes. Transfers. I'll make a motion to accept transfers. Second by Bobby. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Clerk, if you deem the finance, treasurer's, clerk, sheriff reports received, and now takes to claims. Any issues on claims? Clerk, you deem those to be paid. Let's go ahead and do here for magistrates. If there's anything else you guys need to talk about before we move to the executive session.
Senior citizen.
We yes. The door, the back door, the rest of that, it's gonna cost a little over $1,000. That's installed.
Is there already installed?
No. No, it took them, I don't know when it took.
That's it.
That's installed. That takes us, and then the toilets and all the sink fixtures will be replaced, all toilets and all sink fixtures for $1,400, which is about 4 or 5 toilets and however many sinks. Which I thought was a decent deal. So we went ahead with that, and hopefully that will happen during the Christmas break when they're not using the building. So that's gonna take us down on the budget to about $2,500 is what we'll have left over. And then I'm waiting for a bid on the automatic door opening, just see what that costs. What's his name, Mark is supposed to start painting by end of this week or next week, one or two, I can't remember which. The rooms they want to paint, so it's.
I went over and looked, and I think the only other thing I would really look at lighting at some point, but we won't have the money this year's budget to do it. I'm sure.
Probably not. I mean, we replaced all these, but we've been just doing it just a little at a time, you know? And I guess if you go in there and just replace everything with the whole fixture, that will cost a lot more. But it's hard to convert them over, it's time, a long time to do that. I don't know. mean, if I was them, I wouldn't want the door, the handicap door first, but we'll see. We'll get this stuff installed, we'll see. Anything else?
I want to say thank you to Tom, he's always listening to my complaints and minutes. And he takes them pretty good, so he's done a good job for him. Appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Second that too.
Amen.
It won't be in bad shape when I leave like Wade does.
They'll be in good shape when I leave. I'd like to make the motion to move into executive session.
At this time, in accordance with KRS 61-810, Section 1, subsection F, the Lyon County Fiscal Court will go into an executive session after passage of your motion thereof for the purpose of discussing the possible appointment of an employee to the road department.
Is there a second? Second by Bobby, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, we'll move into executive session. Bobby, or Tommy, can you please stay?
Yeah.
Pause the recorders.
I should have called that. I just did. You skipped over that barrier, right? Papa barrier?